Burger's got to have real cheese. Now that's a real cheeseburger.
That's a Micro Magic microwave cheeseburger.
Well, you'll never get me to try a microwave French fries.
Try new Micro Magic hamburgers and cheeseburgers with Micro Magic French fries. They're better than fast. They're delicious.
If you've always thought plastic surgery was for other people, you should know about the Park East Plastic Surgery Center. At Park East, you'll meet a board-certified plastic surgeon who's understanding and cares, and the fee is surprisingly affordable. Now, it may not totally change your life, but it can definitely help you feel and look great.
Park East, the respected name in plastic surgery. For a free consultation, call 212-988-2727.
Women who murdered their husbands, today at 10.
And coming up on Live, we'll talk with the wife of the Republican presidential candidate Barbara Bush about the role she's playing in this heated election race for the presidency of the United States.
Plus, if you've always thought having a big dog was a hassle, we're going to introduce you to some of the world's biggest breeds. They're large, but they're lovable and they're easy to care for.
And if you're concerned about having a hysterectomy, reports say that over 500,000 operations are performed every year. We'll talk with an expert who claims more than half of these operations are not necessary.
And we'll find out what the best fruits and vegetable buys are this season, from the apple orchards to the pumpkin patch. It's time for fall harvest,
And it's all coming up next on Live.
And now the hosts of our show, Regis and Kathie Lee.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Thursday, October 20th, 1988. A bright, brisk, windy, but very sunny day here in New York. It's nice to see you this morning.
Went out in my own little pumpkin patch this morning. Freezing. It was cold. Chardonnay, did not, no. Does not, it's going to be a tough winter. Does not like to go outside.
the cold weather.
Doesn't like the cold weather.
Well, as he grows up and
It's
gets
a she, Reach. It's
as
a
she grows
and
up
she
and
really
gets a little
resented
more
what you
hair
said
on.
about her yesterday.
What did I say?
You know how we know that you told a lie yesterday?
How?
Well, usually I can tell, but you totally gave yourself away yesterday. When you're telling the story about our dinner party and how Chardonnay allegedly went to the potty.
Yeah.
You said Chardonnay lifted her leg.
Well, I didn't want to look. I wanted to give her some privacy.
Right. That's what you said, and therefore you gave yourself away. Little girls do not do that. Therefore, Chardonnay's reputation is intact. You can't always believe what you hear.
Little girls don't do that?
No.
I thought I saw Chardonnay.
Okay, now the truth comes out. All right.
We had high drama here yesterday after the show.
Yes, I did.
Absolutely. You know, it takes a long time to get tickets on this show. So a lady, I guess about a year ago, sent in for tickets. They came. She came to the show yesterday. Well, during that time, she's become pregnant and is expecting a baby, but she wanted to see the show. She came anyway. Well, it was such a dramatic, such an entertaining show that right after the show, she began experiencing those pains. Now,
Reach, I believe her water broke, didn't it?
you know, I have trouble saying a woman's water broke. I can't say that, just like I have trouble with the word hysterectomy. I mean, it sounds like, you know, a terror movie, hysterectomy.
And in some cases it is.
It probably is,
right.
Yes. In any event, she felt those contractions. And she's out in the lobby, and, you know, people are running around, and it got pretty tense.
It got exciting.
We grabbed, first of all, we sent for a cab. Somebody sent for an ambulance. We grabbed a camera, and...
The truth is, we got the camera first, all right?
And we wanted to make sure that she was all right. So in this piece of tape, you've got to watch this. We finally get her out to the sidewalk, and the first cab comes up. We haul it over. And this cab driver, of all the thousands of cabs in New York City, this cab driver apparently appeared on our show or one of my shows or knew me from somewhere.
Of course he did.
This guy wants to talk about the old times, you know, and this woman's going, whoa, whoa.
How hadn't she been hanging out in the men's room up until that point? So they went to the first available bathroom, and it was the men's room.
Well, it was either the men's or the ladies' room. I'm not sure. But
the men's room.
Well, the men's room. All right.
I'm the keeper of the truth around here.
So, anyway, where was I before? Oh, so then after we get her off in the cab, the ambulance guy comes, you know.
A little late.
I had to handle things out there. As you'll see, as I do very, very smoothly right here. So let us now go to Catherine Jurok, who is in our lobby. This is right after yesterday's show. Here we go. Well, this is a few minutes after our show, and this lady is expecting, came down to see our show from upstate New York, and all of a sudden she's feeling some contractions.
Yes, very strong.
Very strong. Your name is?
Kathie Jurok.
Kathy, and are you here with somebody?
Yes, I'm with my sister.
Oh, well, that's good. Can she drive you home now?
I hope so.
I mean, how strong are these contractions?
No, they're not too bad. I just started getting them.
Really? Mm-hmm. All right, so shall we help you up? Your car is parked on the other side of Manhattan,
Yep.
right? All right, is this your sister right here?
Yes.
Hi. Let's all help. Get on the other side, sister. Help Kathie Jurok. Kathy, please. It'd be good for the show if you could do it right now.
I know, right?
Did you like the show?
Yes, it was really enjoyable.
Well, you took a chance coming down, didn't you?
Well, I'm not due for another 3 weeks, so I thought,
Another 3 weeks?
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that good a show. Well, we have a cab for you. We'll take you right over to where your car is parked. And your doctor wants you to go right to him when you get up there to Ossining, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yes, here's the ambulance. We have Kathie Jurok right here. Get that guy over here. How are you? It's nice to see you. All right. Go ahead, Kathy. You getting in, sis?
Yes.
All right.
Regis, remember I was with you before?
Wait a minute. This cab driver wants to... What's that?
Remember me and you were on together before? The last time when you first started your show, you saw me?
Listen, we got a pregnant woman back there. This is an emergency. She's expecting. You're going to take her right to her place, right?
Whatever you want. For you. You're the greatest. Good luck.
Thanks a lot. It's good to see you.
You don't remember me, right? My ugly face and you don't remember me. Regis, you look so good.
Thank you. Hey, good luck, Kathy. Let us know what happens. All right, there they go. Never a dull moment here in New York. 73rd and York Avenue, quickly and efficiently. Thanks. Okay. Is this for her? Wait a minute, is this ambulance for her, really? Who ordered the ambulance? What are we doing here? Well, I think she can make it. Why don't we just leave her in the cab, let her get going? Now, who's going to explain to this guy? Holy cow, look at this problem we got. I'm sorry, old buddy, but you guys, you look good. You're right on the job. Thank you. She wasn't in that much of an emergency. Okay. I didn't want to tie up this ambulance because who knows who will need this ambulance next. Right. Okay? Thanks very much.
Thank
All
you.
right, good. Okay, can we get on with our show now? All right, welcome back in the studio. So there you go.
That's why we call the show live.
That's right. That's why it's live. So anyway, this lady goes back up to Ossining, New York, and guess what? Yesterday afternoon, had the baby.
Baby girl.
She's on our phone right now. Catherine, how you doing?
Good, real good.
Hi, Kathy. How you feeling?
A little sore, but pretty good.
A little sore, yeah.
So what did you have?
I had a girl.
Oh, girl. Oh, that's
Baby girl.
nice. And did you name it after Kathie or Chardonnay or somebody around here?
No, Allison.
Allison, how nice. And what was the weight?
6 pounds, 7 ounces.
And 3 weeks early, too, huh?
Yep, 3.5 weeks early.
See what happens when you come to our show? You're induced.
You're induced to produce. We're really happy for
Yeah,
you. We hope we didn't traumatize you in any way.
No.
Now,
I was more surprised than anything, than anybody.
What happened during the cab ride? Did the cab driver tell you that he's a close personal friend of mine?
To be honest with you, I probably didn't listen to a word he said.
Of course, you. So
What'd your husband say?
Huh?
What'd your husband say?
Oh, he was cool, calm, and collected.
Sure, he's not the one having the baby.
I know, right?
You went right up to Ossining, went to see your doctor, and I guess you had it.
I had a cesarean, so I had it right away.
Well, that's terrific. Well, listen.
We're thrilled for you.
Yeah, we're thrilled for you. What can we do for Kathy? Can we?
Yeah, what can we do for you?
What do you need? What can we send from the live with the Regis and Kathie Lee show?
Oh, I don't know.
Would you like a little puppy dog, a Chardonnay?
No puppy dog.
Got something to
We're
take
going to think
care
of something and send it to you,
Yeah,
okay,
Kathie,
Kathie?
God bless
Yeah,
you.
thanks very much.
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you.
That's just great. Oh, I love that. That's nice.
Well, how about those Dodgers?
How about those Dodgers?
I mean, they hardly have a
I tried
team
to
together
tell
out
you.
there.
I tried to tell you.
I don't know how they're doing it. They don't have any heavy hitters in the lineup with Marshall on the bench now, but they got a lot of spirit, a lot of hustle.
You know how they do
Tommy
it?
Lasorda.
They do it the old-fashioned way, Reach. They earn it. Little by, it's not flashy stuff. It's one guy gets a base, another guy steals a base, another guy bunts, and it's just efficiency. Cold-hearted efficiency. Step by step, they get it done like we get this show done every day.
Hasn't been the same since the Winter Olympics.
That's true.
All right, on the show today, we have the world's largest dogs. I mean, these are gigantic.
They're fun. They're out in the hallway traumatizing other people. So we may have some more babies before the day is out. Also, what else, Reach? Fruits and vegetables.
The Best Buys in fruits and vegetables. This is harvest time. People all over America are going out to their farms and gathering in the produce with their hands, not afraid of the soil.
That's right. I love gourds. What the hell good is a gourd?
If you haven't had a gourd, you haven't lived, I'll tell you that.
We're also going to discuss from gourds to hysterectomies. Only on our show, we're going to discuss the pros and cons of having them. One of our really favorite people is on the show today. We're very honored to have Mrs. Barbara Bush. You know, Frank has been called Babs Bush Gifford on occasion.
Excuse me. Frank has been called
I asked
what?
Mrs. Bush if I could say this in no disrespect, and she said, sure.
Frank has been called?
Mrs. Bush was supposed to speak in Santa Fe, New Mexico a couple of years ago for Don Meredith and his wife at a function.
Yeah.
And she couldn't, something very, very urgent happened with one of their children. She was taken off the plane and had to go take care of the emergency. And so they called in good old Frank. Frank gave Barbara Bush a speech, and they've called him Babs Bush Gifford ever since.
Oh, I see. He delivered her speech.
He delivered her
that's funny.
speech.
That's good. Great.
Anyway, she's a lovely woman.
And
she's
she'll be
on.
coming out next. Just one little quick PS to our opening here. Poor man was here yesterday, the Los Angeles disc jockey. Everybody I met, everybody who saw him on TV in Los Angeles on Channel 9, commented how much better he looks with his hair cut.
Oh, you think so?
Yes, absolutely. And we did that not for us, not for you, but for society in general.
America Beautiful.
Cleaned him up.
Actually, I heard a few comments from people like, how could you do that? That's the cruelest thing I've ever seen in my life.
First of all, it was not our idea. It was from one of his listeners. This is what they wanted done to him on our show. We just happened to be here.
That's right. Once again, just innocent bystanders.
Barbara Bush coming up next. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
Actually, I just did. Well, look at the dirt your soap missed. Ooh, now what? Something that really works. Pond's cold cream? Wait and see. Pond's cleans deep down into your pores to get out the dirt and makeup soap left behind. Look at that. Looks great. So soft. See? Pond's cleans like no soap can.
Who are the brightest kids in America? A recent national test showed moms preferred New Thicker Vivid over Clorox 2. They rated Vivid higher for making colors and whites look cleaner. They said New Thicker Vivid gets out stains better than Clorox 2. And they rated Thicker Vivid higher than Clorox 2 at whitening whites. So, who are the brightest kids in America?
Mine are.
Don't just get them clean, get them Vivid. Come share the feeling.
A&P has Canada Dry Ginger Ale and Barrelhead Root Beer. 69 cents with coupon and $5 purchase plus deposit where required. Make the perfect ice cream soda with Steve's Ice Cream. $1.69 any flavor. And your cup runneth over with value. Lipton's Cup of Soup, 2 for $1. All varieties with coupon.
Come share the proud new feeling at A&P.
Okay, it's a pleasure now to welcome quite possibly our next First Lady. And here she is, the wife of the Vice President of the United States. And hopefully for her and for him will be the next President of the United States. Here's Miss Barbara Bush. How are you? Nice to have you on the show, Barbara.
How are you?
Nice to see you.
We have a stool for you.
Is that all right?
I
You should
guess
see
that's
Dr.
all right.
Roth try to get up there.
Nice to have you on the show, Barbara.
you.
You okay up there?
I think so.
You know why people say we have to lower our stools? What do you think? Should we? Yeah? Let's make a presidential decision right here.
Not standards.
Not standards. They're not good?
No, we're not going to lower our standards.
Well, we're not going to lower our standards.
Don't compromise.
Oh, sorry, absolutely right. Anyway, welcome to our show, and it's
Thank you.
nice to have you here. You know who I think about? I think about the wives when these presidential debates happen. I think everybody gets a little bit nervous about these debates.
Oh,
you know.
I hate them.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you wring
Hate
your
them.
hands and sit
No,
there?
I grit my teeth. Smile, though.
Always smile.
Do you get angry at some of the questions?
At the questions, I'm going to be absolutely frank with you. I didn't like the first question of the last debate.
The first question was presented to Mr. Dukakis.
Michael Dukakis regarding
I didn't
his
like
wife.
it very much.
It's kind of rough, wasn't it?
I thought it was rough.
Or was it?
But I loved the asker. I mean, seriously, Bernie
Bernard
is,
Shaw.
I think he's a wonderful commentator, but I thought the question was just a very difficult one.
Now, are we talking about the question to Dukakis or to Bush? To Dukakis.
Which was if Kitty...
Yeah, I just think they're so personal and so... but
Does the
having
press
said
cross
that...
the line too often, Mrs. Bush?
Well, I don't know as he crossed the line. He just crossed my line. But my line is very high.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very easy to cross my line.
Now, how's the campaign going for you?
I'm loving it.
Are you really?
Can you believe it?
No, I really can't, because
It seems
that's
like
a
such
lot
a
of
ride.
hard work, and you never know who you're
Well-
going to meet around the corner.
First of all, I love my candidate.
Yeah.
And it's easy to talk about him, so that's no problem. But last fall, you know, George announced about October 12th, and about November 12th, I suddenly said one day, oh, I've got to get up and go out and travel another week on the road. And then I thought, that is so silly. Nobody has a better time than I do.
Do you?
I think I'm the luckiest living human. I've
Well,
been to
isn't
all
that
50
nice?
states. I have loved seeing old friends, and, you know, people pay to do what I do. I mean, I see tourists with cameras going around taking pictures
absolutely right.
of something I do every day.
Oh,
so,
that's nice. Tell us a little bit about the beginnings of you and George. You met on a college campus, right?
no, I met him, well, college. I was a junior in high school, and he was a senior, and
Was
I
it
met
at a
him at a
Christmas
dance.
party or party?
That's right,
Yeah.
at a Christmas party.
I see.
And he asked a fella standing there, do you know that girl in the red and green dress? And he said, oh, yes, I grew up with her. I think he thought, what in the world would he want to know her name for?
Aww.
And anyway, he said, well, would you mind cutting in on her and introducing me to her? Now, that's pretty nice.
Slick old George, huh?
You bet.
Well, you were 16 and he was 17.
That's right.
I think that's adorable.
And he asked me to dance, and then they played a waltz, and George said, you know, I really don't know how to waltz. Do you mind sitting down? And he hasn't waltzed since, but that's okay with me. He's a very good dancer, but he really doesn't like it.
And then when were you married?
Well, we were married when I was 19 and he was 20 in 1945, just the other day.
You left school after your freshman year to marry him. Ever regretted that?
You know, no.
Not marrying him, leaving school.
No. No, that's a good question. But you know, people who regret something are dumb, because I could go to college right now if I wanted to, and I could have any one of those 43 years. George would have said, fabulous, go on and go. But the truth is, I think I was a late bloomer.
Is that right?
Honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I was about 50 when I suddenly realized there were a lot of things I wanted to learn, and I'm learning now a lot.
Good for you. You know, a magazine had a spread of the various homes that you have lived in over the years.
Yes.
Yeah.
My gosh, something like 17 or into the
17
20s.
different places.
How many?
yeah.
We've lived in 17 cities, 28 homes.
Boy, now that must have driven you a little crazy, right?
No,
Moving?
I've loved it.
Nothing bothers Barbara Bush. Barbara Bush loves everything.
Let me tell you in all honesty, today I love it. But I used to get teary when George would come home and say, well, we're going to move, and it's so exciting. And I mean, he has wonderful imagination, and he can make everyone want to do things. And I would say, I can't.
But it's traumatic.
I can't get everything we own. And George would say, well, don't worry. And he'd go out and buy 2 new trunks. And so for a while, we had about 12 trunks.
Yeah.
But I've discovered in life that all you have to do is call a moving van. And they have those hanging things. Anything you can't pack, they pack.
Exactly right, and let them do it. But for the last 8 years, you've been in the vice presidential...
I'm going to have a terrible time. It's the longest I've ever lived in a house.
Get accustomed to the house? Like it?
Oh, it's a wonderful
house. Hey, but the White House is just down the corner.
No comparison. I mean, I can get up every morning and walk outside and walk my dog. Incidentally, why didn't you ask me to be on with the dogs?
Well, she's been playing with the dogs out there.
Next.
You love those dogs, huh?
Fabulous.
Mrs. Bush, the biggest problem in the country today, I don't have to tell you, is the drug situation. You look at the headlines in the New York papers today. We lost 2 young cops the night before last. A federal agent almost shot to death last night. Every night it is warfare out there on the streets. Now, does George ever talk to you privately about this?
Of course.
Drug situation?
Of course, it's a major interest. Well, one thing he feels we have to do, and I must say, let me just tell you a little story because I think it describes a little bit the way I feel. A woman came up to me on the plane the other day, a perfectly beautiful black lady, and she said, Miss Bush, I want to share with you why I made my decision this week of who I'm going to vote for and why I'm going to vote for your husband. And she said, I always have been against the death penalty. But she said, we have to do something about drugs. We have got to get tough on drugs. And I said, I agree. 10 years ago, if you'd said, Barbara Bush, are you for the death penalty? I'd have said no.
Oh, so you've changed your mind about that?
Well, I have. But if you lived in Washington, D.C., and you lived with a man who's in charge of going to, in the drug interdiction, and we see young agents shot.
Well, this new drug bill that Congress has
put a death penalty.
Has put a death penalty in for deaths in those cases.
Yes, and George, you hate to be for a death penalty, but we have got to protect our policemen and our drug agents, and we've got to protect our youth. And in Washington, we've had many times young, beautiful high school students killed who happen to be in between.
Yeah.
We can't have. I'm sure that's true of New York.
It's a war. So you think that's the beginning, the death penalty for?
But in tough sentences, no, going in and out no revolving doors. Yeah. All those awful slogans we're now getting into. I barely have to say a word, and you can finish my sentences.
Well,
that's the media.
You're absolutely right.
But I mean, that's just a feeling that we have, and that woman sort of expressed what I feel is. You have to change with the times, and we've got to get a grip on this. We had Lee Kuan Yew visit us in Maine about 4 or 5 years ago, the head of Singapore. And George said, it's a very tactless question, but I said to him, when I grew up, Singapore was the den of iniquity, and you've cleaned it up. How did you do it? Drugs. And it used to be just the dregs. And it may not be perfect now, but anyway, his answer was very simple. We have public hangings. And I said, well, didn't your people say, you can't do that? What about human rights? And he said, we only had to do it twice, Barbara. Well, now that's sort of a funny story, but
no, it's absolutely
they have
true.
Cleared up drugs.
Yes, they've cleared up drugs in China. I brought this up last month with Shana Alexander.
Of course, now in China, they did kill 25 million people.
They did.
I mean, we don't want that, and we maybe don't want the Singapore treatment, but we do want people who have been found guilty, proven guilty, to pay the price because our children, we cannot bring them up in a world like this. Not to mention what they're doing to old women, old men. I mean, the drug...
It's pervasive.
We've got to stop.
Now, Mrs. Bush, you would come today. Of all the days you could have come, you came today. Because
the World Series?
No. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't bring this up. But it's got to be kind of a tough question.
Then don't ask it. It's such an absurd rumor that I'm not going to dignify it with an answer.
Good. Then that you just answered it for me.
We got a rumor someone has a heart attack or someone had someone else take their law exams. Don't ask.
How do you deal with it, Mrs. Bush? I know when my husband, whom I adore, is criticized unfairly, my husband's attitude is that he just deals with it beautifully, like as I see it, your husband do. Inside, I'm seething. I want justice.
But I was in Missouri yesterday all day, on having a wonderful day, campaigning in St. Louis and in Sikeston, And it was over when I got home.
No, I don't mean just this particular thing. In general, when
Well,
your husband is you feel unjustly criticized.
I hate it. Well, I never feel unjustly criticized. All the criticism of me is true. I've said it. I've done it. I mean, it's true. I deny it sometimes, but it's true.
But these are going to be the tough days of this race.
That's
and,
right.
And it could get dirty, and it's gotten a little
Well,
dirty.
now, let me say in defense of whatever, last night I was talking to Jim Baker about something else, and I said, say, Jim, I just saw the worst thing. Michael Dukakis held up a brochure. I hope we're not doing that. He said, we certainly aren't, and I'm going to find out where that came from. That is not a Bush campaign piece of literature. So it goes both ways. It's awful.
And when it gets so big, it gets out of control, doesn't it? There are people that you just can't watch every second and what they're doing.
Well, they're independent people out there doing things that you have nothing to do with.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's life, and do I like it?
I want to thank you so much for coming by and being with us today. It was
Thanks.
awfully nice to meet you, and good luck to you, okay? Thanks very much. We'll be right back now with the world's largest dogs in just a moment.
You can stay with them.
When Orson Welles broadcast War of the Worlds on radio, he had no idea he would scare some people half to death.
But every tree looked like a Martian to me.
What was it like on that fateful night the aliens invaded Earth?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's indescribable. I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it.
Entertainment Tonight remembers a public caught in panic. Could it ever happen again? Maybe, based on the success of the new hit series War of the Worlds. You'll get the inside story on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Tonight at 7:30, right after Jeopardy, here on Channel 7.
2 out of 3 home fires start in the kitchen. Get the kitchen fire extinguisher from First Alert. It's specially designed for the kitchen. First Alert, because your family comes first.
Levitt's biggest sale. There will never be a better time to buy furniture.
You'll love it at Levitt's biggest sale.
Channel 7, WABC-TV, New York.
All right, our pet expert, Warren Eckstein, is here. Tell us about those big dogs, who he says really aren't mean. They just look a little intimidating. But what they want is more love. And so here's Warren and 2 pals.
Three pals. Oh, my God.
Are they adorable?
Yes.
You can hold one. Would you like to hold one?
Yes.
These are Bull Mastiff puppies.
Bull Mastiff.
Bull Mastiff. And you know what's important about big dogs, Reed? Aren't they cute? Cover them up, Reed. Just
Reed.
please.
Hi, sweetheart.
Oh, privacy.
Hi.
The important thing is, you know, a lot of people will go out and they'll look in a pet store at a breeder and they'll say, oh, look how adorable, how cute. They'll take it home. And a year or 2 down the road, this little thing's going to be between 100 and 140 pounds.
It feels like he is now.
How old are they right now?
Right now, they're 8 weeks old.
8 weeks.
And so it's so important if you're going to get a big dog to realize that what starts out like this gets bigger and bigger
This is a Bull
and
Mastiff,
bigger.
So check
A
with
Bull
them.
Mastiff. Find
with
out
your
what you're going to
breeders.
get beforehand.
Okay.
So if we can put these guys over here and send them that
Okay.
way,
Come
I'm
on,
going to show you
guys.
some big. Bye,
Come
guys.
on.
Bye. I'm going to show you some big dogs.
They're really adorable. Oh,
Here we go.
come on, Speedies.
Here we go. All right. Now,
St. Bernards.
here we have 2 St. Bernards. And if you notice, there's a difference in these 2 dogs. This one has short hair. This one has long hair. This is the original breed of St. Bernard with the short hair.
Yeah.
And later on, and I'll show you the breed that was used to develop this one. Now, Regis, if you will get your food off the dining room table, you know, people feed their big dogs by putting the bowls on the floor, and then the dog has to eat like this.
Really, yes.
And it's really lousy. It's not
That
healthy.
on their backs?
Absolutely. So you should feed your dog on a table. If you have a big dog, would you like some water, guys?
Look how they can't stop the drinking off the table.
Now, also, St. Bernards were credited with saving over 3,000 lives in the Alps. And even more important than that, they have an uncanny 6th sense. They know when an avalanche is going to take place before it takes place.
Really?
Absolutely. Now, how many times a day do you eat, Kathie? Twice? 3
Twice.
times? Okay.
Let's make it twice.
The average person will feed their dog once a day. And then they have no comprehension why their dog chews their Gucci shoes, because they're hungry. It's important if you have a big dog to feed them 2, 3 small meals a day.
How do they function in the city?
They do fine. They really do. They need a lot of exercise, but if people compensate with the exercise and take them to the park, you know, I get calls from people in Texas and they'll say to me, Warren, my dog gets plenty of exercise. I have a 100-acre spread. I tell them to look out of their window when the dogs are lying under an oak tree, getting no more exercise. So you have to mentally stimulate the dogs, and big dogs need
Valuable?
Yeah, they could run
Expensive?
1,000 if they're champions, 1,500. It's a lot of dog, and it's not true. They don't all drink brandy. Let me show you some more.
Okay, you can have
let
some
me have my
water,
next
honey,
group out here.
I'm supposed to hold these guys, right?
There we go. All right. Oh, God.
Wait. Bull Mastiff.
No, wrong. It's a Mastiff, a different breed of dog.
Oh.
Regis, I thought you'd like this one. This is the Irish Wolfhound.
Irish
This is
Wolfhound.
the tallest
This
of all
one right
breeds.
here? No, this one.
That's the Irish Wolfhound. This is the Mastiff. Now, believe it or not, years ago, the Romans used the Mastiffs, and they used to put armor on them. They loved their dogs so much they actually put
took them
armor.
into battle.
Absolutely, but they put armor on the dogs. Okay. Now, if you hold the Irish Wolfhound, Reach. By the way, he's a Notre Dame fan. He told me that.
It's a good year to be a Notre Dame fan.
Now, you see this dog here, this white one?
Yeah.
This is a Great Pyrenees. They're from the Pyrenees Mountains. And if you notice down here, get out of my way, please. If you notice down here, he has an extra claw.
Yeah,
and that's
I
called
see it.
a snowfoot that we used to carry contraband narcotics across the Pyrenees Mountains.
No kidding.
And it helps them negotiate in the snow. The Great Pyrenees, and this is the Mastiff, an incredible dog. And you know those puppies I showed you?
Yeah.
Well, the Mastiff was too big for the use, so they bred a Mastiff, and they bred a Bulldog and got the Bull Mastiff.
Wow.
Okay, so now...
You know what's incredible? The fact that they're all getting along here.
Hey, would my dogs not get along,
Well,
Regis?
yeah,
There have been times,
Here's
Warren.
2 more for you. Keep them away from the other ones and hold these 2, Regis.
Okay.
All right, I got some more to show you. Wait, you ain't seen nothing yet. All right.
Wait a minute. Guy got away from me.
Oh, easy. Regis, I give you one dog to hold and one
I'm
hat.
confused.
Okay, here we have a Newfoundland. Now remember... Remember what I told you about the St. Bernard before with the long hair?
Yeah.
They used the Newfoundland to breed with the short hair St. Bernard to get the long haired St. Bernard. And this is probably the most regal of all the big dogs. This is the
that
Great
is a beauty,
Dane.
isn't it?
They were used for hunting boar. The most important thing to remember is people are afraid of big dogs. These guys are the gentle giants. If you take the time, give them a hug and a kiss, socialize them, train them young, they will turn out to be the best dogs you ever had.
That's a Great Dane, and this is?
A Great Dane. This is a Newfoundland, a Mastiff, St. Bernards, a Russian Wolfhound, or a Borzoi, and a Great Pyrenees, the gentle giants. Great dogs, Reach.
Great dogs, according to Warren
great.
Eckstein. We thank you, Warren,
Thank
very
you,
much.
Reach.
Thank you, guys. We'll be right back with the best buys in fruits and vegetables next.
This is Bill Butel from Eyewitness News. Connect me with the prosecutor's office, please.
Bill, the jury's coming in with the verdict.
Right, we're all set to go live. Let's get an interview with the defense attorney. I'll try and get in touch with the family. Beautiful. I wouldn't change a word.
So what do you think?
Let's go with it.
Bill, chicken salad or chicken salad?
Can I think it over?
Good choice.
Seriously, everybody did a terrific job on a tough story today.
So it's chicken salad all around.
Now let's talk about our follow-up.
What about the neighborhood?
It's Alexander's 14-hour super savings event. Hundreds of savings store-wide. A fabulous 1/3 off ladies' beautiful sweaters in all styles and colors. A dazzling 60% off our entire stock of genuine 14-karat gold jewelry. And these luxurious full-length mink and fox coats, only $995 from the fur makers at Alexander's. Men's sweaters in assorted styles and colors, a terrific 2 for $30. Come early, shop late at Alexander's 14-hour savings event. Saturday, 9 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Alexander's. Body language, we know your body's language.
In celebration of Living Well Fitness Center's new clubs coming soon to West Orange and Staten Island, you can now join any club and pay only $12.08 a month. Just pick up the phone and call 1-800-LIVE-WELL right now and get started for $12.08 a month. That's $12.08 a month, and you'll be on your way to looking and feeling great. So if you put on a few of those unwanted pounds and inches over the summer, give us a call at 1-800-LIVE-WELL and start shaping up for only $12.08 a month. Call today. Don't delay.
iLab, glasses in an hour. And they do it right, at the right price. And this makes it even righter. iLab's Ideals. Neat, huh? Ideals is iLab's special department where you can save 50% off hundreds of quality frames, everyday low prices, and our 1-hour service. You can't beat that. Look for Ideals and save. iLab, glasses fast, glasses right, prices right. Call for an exam or bring in your prescription.
It's the harvest time, and Barry Ballas is with us. Here's his book called Fruit and Vegetable Stand, a complete guide to the selection of fresh produce. Has his own stand. Has had it for, what, 20 years now up in Woodstock, New
Seems
York?
forever.
Nice to have you back on the
Hi,
show.
Regis.
Hi, Barry.
First thing
Hi,
we're going to
Kathie.
do is kind of take a look at apples. You know, what a bewildering assortment of apples we have, which are which and which are the best eating and so on. Why don't we start with this row right down here, Barry?
Well, wherever you live in the country, they have their own specific kinds of special varieties. But the ones that reach everywhere are the Rome. The Rome is only good for baking or putting in pies. Don't bother to eat it. It'll always disappoint you. For those of you who like wine and elegant cheeses, I recommend the Wine Sap. It's a hard, crispy, slightly tart, winey apple.
You know,
Nice
I swear
color.
to you that this one, doesn't this look, the Wine Sap look just like the Rome?
See how dull
little
it
bit
is?
duller,
It's duller.
yeah.
Dull, and that's how you know,
dull.
huh?
I was going to have a bite of that if you don't mind. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Now, the Cortland apple is the best pie apple that is grown. It's a very white apple, holds its shape when it's cooked, doesn't get mushy and collapse your pie.
This
And
is
then-
tart and winey. Yeah.
That's why it's called Wine Sap.
You got to put it back like that, huh? Lot of class.
And then there's the Macintosh apple, which everyone recognizes. I don't much care for it anymore. I
like
think
them.
there's much better apples to eat. And then there's the Granny Smith. Now, most of the year, Granny Smiths come from the other side of the world. They come from South Africa or New Zealand or Australia. These happen to come from California. She's taking
I have dog schmush all over me. I'm getting at it.
She's a mess today, I'll tell you that.
Now,
what is the best eating apple?
Well, taste is taste, you know, but I think for me, this Macoun, which is grown in our area, this is one of those local varieties.
Boy, look at all these.
There's 83 varieties grown in New York State alone.
Are you all right?
Well, like there's a big dog, there's a lot of smush.
Well,
I apologize. I'm sorry.
Taste that, Regis. Kathy, you always like to eat a little something when we're together.
Don't get too
you?
close to me, please.
Now, most cider that you buy, apple juice, is pasteurized. Stays on the shelf for months.
Right.
You open it, you have to keep it in your refrigerator. Most fresh pressed has ascorbic acid or sodium benzoate. This
Happens
has
to be
nothing.
a great apple, right?
Absolutely fabulous.
This happens to have
So this
nothing.
is not pasteurized?
This is 2 days old, out of the apple.
Fresh.
Nothing in it but itself.
And nature's way is always best. That's
Always
incredible.
best. Now, let's talk to the...
woman, this is great.
Let's show the folks what is happening now in fresh picked vegetables. Usually you pay $1.59, 79 cents now. Broccoli and cauliflower all throughout the country are being picked. $2, $3, $1.49 now. Now's the time to eat broccoli and cauliflower. Fresh picked broccoli and cauliflower doesn't stink up your house when you cook it. Most of the other stuff that comes from California, no offense, California, has been in transit, has been in storage.
Yeah, like garlic.
Yeah, a little mushada. Now, this is the butternut squash, which I want to show you how to cut it safely. Take a little piece off the side so it lays flat.
Butternut squash.
Butternut
It's
squash.
delicious. It's delicious.
Staple of the American Indian. Now you take this, you scoop out the seeds, place it face down like that, half inch of water, 350 degrees, and it'll be soft enough to do anything. One of the great interesting varieties of
the
squash.
string squash?
This is the string squash.
This is
spaghetti
delicious.
squash.
Spaghetti
It's called
squash.
spaghetti
It's
squash.
my personal favorite, too.
Oh, Reach, if you've ever
As
tasted
I explained how to cook it, and then you scoop
Oh,
it
you
out
can't
with a
beat
fork.
that.
It is
Look
so
at this.
delicious, you can't believe. With the little butter, salt on it. Oh, to die.
Pesto sauce, butter and cheese, a little. I like to serve it with 3 or 4 different kinds of
I'm having
toppings.
some tonight, for sure.
All right. Now, one of the great buys now is the winter squashes. You have the buttercup, the acorn, the pumpkin squash, the Hubbard squash.
Looks like Halloween, doesn't it? These.
You take this out.
Is this a fruit or a vegetable?
This is a vegetable. You scoop this out, stuff it, bake it. Great individual serving.
What do you stuff it with?
With onions, garlic, breadcrumbs, a little meat, raisins, celery, a nice vegetable stuffing. Now, this is a Hubbard squash. This is a pumpkin pie squash. A pumpkin pie pumpkin. It's called a sugar pie.
Yeah.
This makes a better pumpkin pie than a pumpkin.
And what is this called again?
It's called a Hubbard.
A
Old
Hubbard.
Mother Hubbard, you know.
Oh, a Hubbard.
I've never
Cheap,
seen anything like that in my
delicious,
life.
But it's
easy
scary to
cook.
look at.
It is.
But it's so beautiful inside. Should we look inside?
Yeah, I'd love to see
let's
what that
look
thing looks like inside.
You want to see what's inside a Hubbard squash, don't you?
There's a Hubbard. All right.
If there's a little Hubbard in there.
If these are too hard, you should always ask your greengrocer to cut it for you. If they don't do it for you, shop somewhere else.
Oh,
Well,
Clean
it
it
looks
up.
like a pumpkin.
It
on the
looks like
inside.
Squash is
everything
squash.
else. Yeah, squash is squash. Get
I've
with
always
it.
said that.
So these are the Harvest Foods now. They're at their lowest price and peak quality. Treat yourself and your family.
But he did not answer the only important question.
Which is?
What good is a gourd?
They used to dry them and make ladles with them, storage containers. The Mexicans still keep the tortillas in them. They're very popular. They are useful things.
But you don't eat a gourd.
You don't eat a gourd.
Okay.
All right, do we have that settled?
It's bothered me for years, and I'm glad it's finally been cleared up.
Barry,
Thank you,
thanks very much. We'll be right back with the pros and the cons of hysterectomies in just a moment.
It's Woolworth's annual toy sale, a savings spree packed with terrific surprises. Every toy, every single game in stock, now 25% off. 25% off every toy for girls, 25% off every toy for boys, and 25% off games of every description. That's 25% off Woolworth's regular toy prices. You can also take 20% off all 10-speed bikes for adults, fun styles for kids, and 20% off every scooter. All this week at Woolworth.
How does Sam Breakstone know when his sour cream is ready?
Not thick enough!
Now?
Not thick enough!
Now?
Now!
Breakstone's all-natural sour cream is so thick and so rich now because Sam was so demanding then.
Put that down.
Now?
Now! Ah! Try my new Light Choice. It's got 33% less fat than sour cream, but it's 100% delicious.
If you're going to be on your feet all day, the last thing you want to worry about is your shoes. So get some Revelations. They're the all-day comfort shoes.
Room Plus announces the white sale. Get any of the fine mica furniture in the Room Plus store in white, and you'll save 25% even if you order the drawer fronts in color. Yes, save 25% on our famous bunk trunk collection. Save hundreds of dollars on our Moods designs. You'll even get 25% off the new Waterfall collection. And if you want anything in colors, we'll give you 20% off. Now that's a white sale at Room Plus. For the location nearest you, dial 800-262-ROOM.
Told us.
Yeah.
You
Right, so
never eat the outside skin of a green Granny Smith apple. They're highly insecticided, and be careful. Always take the skin off, okay?
That's what he said, yeah. Now, the last word on hysterectomies right here in this book called Hysterectomy Before and After. And if you're anticipating one or thinking about it, you should probably read this book first. Of the estimated 600,000 hysterectomies performed on women this past year, our next guest says only 10.7% were performed for female cancer. But what about the remaining 89%? How necessary were these hysterectomies? So joining in this discussion of the author of Hysterectomy Before and After, Winifred B. Cutler, and we have Judith Crane from Great Barrington, Massachusetts, who has had a hysterectomy, and Caroline Hughes, who avoided having a hysterectomy and has had reconstructive surgery instead. Nice to have you all here.
Thank you very much.
Judith, tell us, why don't you begin by telling us your story?
Okay. I was 35 years old and had a tubal ligation, which is the tubes tied. I had some problems a few months later, and they did a DNC. Shortly thereafter, I was told I had to have a hysterectomy.
Did you ask why?
To be honest, no.
Did you get a second opinion?
No.
Why is that? Because you just had, if they said
Because
it...
in those days, you believed that MD meant God.
Yeah, that's true. How long ago was this?
I'm 49 now, so that's 14 years.
14 years ago.
Yes.
And that's right around the era when everybody
That was the
thought
answer for everything. You
got
had a
it.
hysterectomy.
Exactly.
Now, you had a chance to have one, right, Caroline?
Yes, I didn't want one. I was told last March that I needed a hysterectomy. And I'd had terrible back problems and menstrual problems. And so I consulted another doctor. I got a second opinion, totally unrelated to the first opinion.
Yeah.
And I was told again, ultrasound confirmed it. And I said, no, I didn't think so. And I did research. I investigated the situation further and found out that there were people in the country, actually one surgeon in the country, who was doing female reconstructive surgery, which meant removal of the fibroid tumors, which I had.
That was your problem.
Right, right. Removal of the fibroid tumors, and she would repair and restore the uterus using the latest technology and modern surgical techniques such as laser, ultrasound, and microsurgery.
I've got so many more techniques now than
14 years ago. It's a different story.
So you had it done this way, and you're feeling good?
Right.
Happy you did it this way?
Yes. My mother, who had a hysterectomy 14 years ago, told me that I had the choice, that I should take it, even if it meant flying to Los Angeles.
You know, Winifred, when do you know when it is absolutely necessary to have that hysterectomy?
I don't think you ever know, but what you can do if you're a woman and you're questioning it is empower yourself with knowledge. There is information available. There are really good data to say that unless you have cancer, there's a whole, maybe a 10-step process a woman can go through. And if she goes through that process, she probably won't need a hysterectomy. It takes time. She's got to be willing to have the stamina to say to her physician, I would prefer to avoid a hysterectomy, and before we consider that, let's try the 9 steps that precede it.
Why is it the second most commonly performed operation in this country? Why are people doing it if it's not necessary?
I think that the uterus gives us problems just as our teeth give us problems and we have cavities and we get them filled. And I believe that the real problem is there's not yet an appreciation of how valuable a uterus is to a woman's body, to her hormones, to her mental function, to her physical function. And until that information is understood, when the organ causes problems, the easy response is let's just remove the organ.
Well, Judith, you didn't get any hormonal therapy at all until 5 years after your hysterectomy, and it just wreaked havoc.
No, it was about 4 years ago that I got that. Unfortunately, when the symptoms of depression and so forth set in, I went back to my OBGYN, who said to me, have some Valium.
No
that was
kidding.
his answer.
That was his answer.
Yes.
Huh? Well, what are the symptoms which lead a woman to suspect that she should have one?
There's several different kinds of symptoms that will bring a woman to a physician who will then possibly say you should have a hysterectomy. Women don't generally believe they need them. They're generally advised to have a hysterectomy, either because they're bleeding and the bleeding is abnormal. And very often in that case, the physician will say, we can solve your bleeding problem and you won't have any after effects of the hysterectomy, so let's solve it by removing the organ that bleeds. And most of the time, those bleeding problems are not so pathologic that they require such a drastic treatment. The other kinds of problems are the fibroid tumors, which grow, and when they grow, they can press on other organs, they can cause pain.
They can become very large.
They can become very large, but there are now really good treatment approaches.
And they can be surgically removed as they were in
Carolyn's case. Very, very often. Yeah. The tumor can be removed and the organ can be spared, called reconstructive surgery.
We're going to pause right now and take some calls from our studio audience and from our audience at home as well, okay? Right back in a moment.
Accommodations for some guests of Live provided by the Marriott Marquis, home of Broadway's Marquis Theater, and The View, New York's revolving rooftop lounge, New York's Marriott Marquis. For more information on any of the segments on today's Live, please call our hotline 1-900-590-LIVE within the next 24 hours.
To help keep fit, health experts recommend a diet with complex carbohydrates, low fat, and low cholesterol. And new improved Tasty white bread can be an important part of that diet. Tasty is rich in complex carbohydrates, very low in fat, and contains no cholesterol. And we bake Tasty bread in a whole new way. So it's not only healthy for you, it's soft, smooth, fresh, and delicious too. New improved Tasty in the bright new package. Tasty helps keep you fit.
Starting Saturday, we're celebrating our 120th store opening with terrific savings throughout the store. A 10-pack of Scotch audio tape is just $17.77. Or get 2 Scotch T120 high-grade videotapes for only $9. And a Gold Star 105-channel VCR with wireless remote is just $199.99. We care about you, James Wade.
A few weeks ago, a young man died on the street
A gang of thugs murdered him in a drug deal. At one time, his parents had a lot of hopes and dreams for him. I wish his story was unusual, but it's not. Well, it's time for us to fight back. It's time to impose the death penalty on drug dealers who kill. I support the death penalty. Frank Lautenberg does not. It's time we get as tough on drug dealers as they are on us.
Pete Dawkins for U.S. Senate, because New Jersey can do better.
I have a girlfriend who's always been as healthy as you and I are. Did everything, except she felt a little tired sometimes. Had a constant low-grade fever and a few aches and pains. She thought it was the flu. Then she learned she had lupus, a disease that can threaten your life if you don't treat it. Lupus is chronic and debilitating, and there's no known cure. But with early diagnosis, you can control it. To help or get help, call the Lupus Foundation. Check your local listing, ask about lupus. Learn and live.
We're talking about hysterectomies today. We'll go to our phones. Hi, you're on live with Regis and Kathie Lee.
Yes, I'm Sherry from Alabama, and I was diagnosed as having adenomyosis. And I was wondering what the lady's opinion was on having a hysterectomy. I was told I needed one.
It seems to be one of the indications for which sometimes there's no alternative.
I didn't hear what she said. What did she say?
She was describing adenomyosis, endometriosis of the uterine wall.
That's the lining of the uterus.
No, that's of the muscle, the very muscle of the uterus. And it's
so she should have that.
I could never say that she should have it, but it's one in which if she tried hormonal treatment to oppose it, and if she was not able to overcome it after it, then there might be no alternative. That's what I meant about the 10 steps.
Okay.
It's the last resort.
Carolyn uses from Pittsburgh is shaking her head.
No, I disagree. I'm not an expert, but I've read another book that, and in fact, the book that convinced me not to get the hysterectomy, and they said that that can also be repaired.
Sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes it can. That's why I say there's a 10-step process, and it is only as a last resort.
Sherry, we thank you for the call from Alabama. To our next call. Hi, you're on with Regis and Kathie Lee.
Hi, my name is Linda. I'm from Kentucky.
Hi, Linda.
My question is, when I was 28, I had a total hysterectomy, and my ovaries were the problem, not my womb. And I asked the doctor if I kept my uterus, would I be a candidate for in vitro fertilization? And he told me no, but I've never really accepted that. So I was wondering, would I have been a candidate?
I couldn't hear what she said. What did you keep and what did you lose?
Okay, I had a total hysterectomy.
Total hysterectomy meaning the total uterus was removed.
Right.
Okay, and you kept your ovaries and your tubes?
No, because of my ovaries and my tubes, I had to have, they had to be removed. There was no question about that because I had fibroid tumors.
Well, then you
However, my uterus was okay.
So you had more than a total hysterectomy. You had a total hysterectomy plus your tubes, plus your ovaries.
Right.
And so you had all of your female reproductive organs removed.
Right.
And your question was if you had been able to keep your uterus, would that have been able to support a pregnancy if there was IVF?
Right.
I think that's a question that an IVF expert could answer. I couldn't. My field is hysterectomy and what can be done, especially for a woman like you who's already had that surgery. You need to be aware of your cardiovascular disease risk, which went up by about 7-fold by having the surgery, and you can fight back, but you need to know what to do. Likewise, your bones are at risk, and you can fight back, but you have to know what to do.
So it's so much more related to just a reproductive system. It's related to every aspect of your
good heavens,
being.
the uterus of a woman is a kind of control center for the ovaries. The hormones of the ovaries are then control center for bones. The uterus focuses energy on the brain, on well-being.
Then why does Judith look fabulous?
Because she's under marvelous hormonal care. She has a good nutrition background. Why don't you tell us?
Well, we're almost out of time right now, but ladies, I thank you very much for coming by. And if you'd like more information, you can find it in this book called Hysterectomy Before and After. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Carolyn, we'll be back in a moment.
This pasta will stay good for a year in your freezer.
This dried linguine will outlast most marriages, and this will probably survive the next ice age. On the other hand, Contadina fresh pastas and sauces won't last very long at all. We make them fresh, and we keep them fresh, which naturally gives them a great fresh taste. Contadina fresh pastas and sauces. Our days are numbered, but we wouldn't have it any other way.
I sent this grown man to Waldbaum's for 1 box of diapers. 1 box. Do you know what he came home with? A 14-pound turkey.
Great price.
12 cans of sardines.
Portuguese.
Sliced ham.
Love ham.
And 2 dozen eggs.
Ham and eggs.
Jeffrey, look me in the eye and tell me Waldbaum's was out of diapers.
Waldbaum's was out of diapers.
There's more to Waldbaum's than what's on our shelves. Come share our values.
Right now, you're just 90 seconds away from Chef Boyardee Beef Ravioli, or 90 seconds away from Chef Boyardee Beefaroni. Introducing microwave meals, new from Chef Boyardee. Just pull open, put the plastic top back on, and pop in your microwave. 90 seconds later, Chef Boyardee pasta, hot and tasty, and with no messy cleanup. Try Chef Boyardee's new microwave meals, and thank goodness, in just 90 seconds.
Presenting Lee & Perrins White Wine Worcestershire Sauce. Its unique blend of white wine, herbs, and spices adds a delicate yet distinctive flavor to chicken, fish, and salads. Lee & Perrins White Wine Worcestershire for lighter, more flavorful foods. To get a more flavorful, juicy steak, marinate it in Lee & Perrins Worcestershire sauce for just 20 minutes. Its rare, naturally aged ingredients make for a mouth-watering marinade and a mouth-watering steak. Lee & Perrins for a better steak.
Tomorrow is Pet Photography Day around here. We'll all be coming with our pets. Joan Rivers will be here with her dog Spike, Chardonnay and Kathie, and my cat Ashley, you know, with the tooth hanging out.
Snaggletooth.
He'll be here too.
Also, the great star from the 50s, Dion, and makeup tips, too.
That's right. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Have a fabulous
See you
day.
tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Some members of our studio audience will receive the following: Swanson Homestyle Recipe Entrees, delicious homestyle dishes that microwave in minutes. When you're not home cooking, Swanson is. Now Lee has made the French manicure easy and affordable with Lee Press-On Nails. The French manicure. 5R, the delicious fruit and fiber snack bar. High in fiber, fortified with oat bran. No cholesterol and only 99 calories per bar. Roughies, the big tough trash bag with the little sissy price. Tough enough for any job yet costs less. Roughies from Polytech. Kathie Lee Gifford's clothing, courtesy of Maison Mendesol at the Plaza Hotel. Regis Philbin's clothing, courtesy of Colors by Alexander Julian for the Greif Companies.
Announcing Giant Carpet's $10 million luxury carpet clearance. Now through Sunday, save 25 to 62% on this luxurious selection. Get 100% nylon multi-tone, just $7.77. DuPont nylon plush, just $10.99. Or super stain resist Saxony, only $13.99 a square yard. Remember, every luxury carpet's 25 to 62% off, including delivery, padding, and installation. Giant Carpet's $10 million luxury carpet clearance through Sunday.
Giant Carpet, you'll choose us every time. Giant Carpet.
At Macy's, our sales managers show you their best with savings like 25 to 40% off misses and petites dresses and suits. 40% off all precious jewelry set in 14-karat gold. A Magnavox 19-inch TV with remote, $259. 25 to 40% off ladies' coats. An ultrasonic humidifier, price break $40. Thursday through Saturday at all Macy's.
Macy's, now more than ever, we're a part of your life. Eat smart, smart, smart.
Kids, they're smart. They know what they like. And when it comes to yogurt, they prefer the Light and Lively 6-pack to the Dannon 6-pack.
La la la, light and lively. Eat smart.
Kids prefer it. It's fruity and creamy, and it's already mixed.
Feed your body the way that you should.
That's good.
La la la, light and lively. Lively, lively, lively. Eat smart.
The 6-pack kids like best.
Channel 7, WABC TV, New York.